All right, Martin Popoff here from the Contrarians, back again with another edition of Reliving Old Reviews as a useless tool of confusion. I'll leave that for you to figure out where that comes from. And this is another short one and a very obscure one. So this is a very short episode. I'm not going to keep you long. So what I do here, the methodology, I just look at an old review and we see if the writer got it right of an old classic. In this case, you may not even know this album. But we'll discuss, and, I guess the bonus is I'm going to tell you a little bit about what I think of this album, maybe teach you a little bit about something. This is a review from Recordmere, March 18th, 1978. It's a review by Steve Gibbs of the Suicide Commandos, Make a Record. Now, I remember getting this album. This is like a Minneapolis band, and I believe I even bought this in Minneapolis when we were across Canada and the States on a family vacation back then. So yeah, 1978, and it's a very frantic, interesting, quite heavy punk album. It sounds like maybe a little bit of a cross between the Minutemen and the Dickies, but yeah, pretty good, heavy album. We liked it. It's got a very interesting drum performance and drum sound, especially on the snare drum. Very short review. Let's see what Steve Gibbs thought of it. My initial reaction was one of despair when I realized that this album was on the same label as the latest from Pere Ubu. I was ready to discard it when I witnessed the opening track. It's called Shock Appeal, and they succeeded in grabbing my attention for those first few moments, long enough to give the album a listen, even though I wasn't disappointed when it came to a halt. Quite nice, full of Ramones-esque beady songs, less the humor. Consider it a kind of American Wire album. Interesting, minus the dreariness and one hell of a lot of energy. It's unfair to simplify a review down to energy, but there isn't any other word for it. If you like new wave and prefer the American kind, you'll like the Suicide Commandos. That's a really interesting way of putting it. This album is energy personified. I like the comparison to Wire as well, because there's something artistic and unique and obscure about these songs. They're short songs. They're power-packed. Like he says, and he gets it right. He obviously knows his Wire, and he's kind of getting this album right as well. That this is just way more energetic, and yeah, I like the Ramones. I like the Ramones comparison a little bit, but it's not really Ramones-esque. He's probably more so just psychologically thinking, oh, they're from the States or whatever. It's pretty cool that. Yeah, they're on the same label as Pere Ubu. So yeah, it says in brackets here, U.S. import blank 002. Yeah, really cool album, to the point where I actually sought out the band quite a few years ago and interviewed the guitarist and found out a little bit more of the story of the band. So there you go, the Suicide Commandos, Make a Record, short and sweet. Join our Patreon if you like. If you like this review, hit like, subscribe. We're trying to get our numbers up there. But if you join the Patreon, that gets you onto our, you can join our panels. Marco sends out all the list of the topics all the time. We've had a lot of fun doing panels and stuff. And that's been a big part of the Contrarians catalog of shows here. So there you go. Check this album out, the Suicide Commandos, Make a Record.